What up, everybody? Good morning. Happy Independence Day. Happy 4th of July. Guess what I just finished doing? I kid you not. I just binge watched all 8 episodes of Stranger Things new season 3 in one sitting. I started at midnight and I just got done right now. Right now it's 7 a.m. And if you're wondering, it's also because some of the episodes, the runtime are like 46, 47 minutes, but nearing the end of the season, like episode 6, 7, 8, that's when they really pack in the most story. So some of the runtime for those set episodes are much longer than the the earlier ones. So yeah. Oh man, I got a lot to say about this new season. So because it's already out on Netflix for you and everybody and their grandma globally to watch, it's available right now on this giant streaming service. Because of that, I'm like, what's the use of doing non-spoiler? Let's just, you know what, fuck it, fuck it. Let's just do a spoiler filled, spoiler filled review. So if you've seen the episodes as well, chime in on the chat or in the comment section below. I want to hear what you think of this awesome new season. That's right. The word awesome is loosely used these days, but that's the only word that I would use to describe this new season 3. I mean, I had my doubts at first because they took the characters out of the Halloween setting or Halloween season, um and put them on 4th of July's celebratory holiday weekend. I was like, wow. It's like, so it's not gonna be that dark. Well, turns out it is. Sure, there are fireworks. There's a lot more sunshine this time around. Um, but the story still took a turn for the dark. Let's just put it that way. By the way, if you some of if any of you guys are wondering what is that awesome song that Dustin and his girlfriend, that's right, he's got a girlfriend and she's real, Susie Poo. If you're wondering what they were singing, it's that classic uh beloved masterpiece, the Never Ending Story song from the Never Ending movie soundtrack. Um, if you had to Google it, I don't blame you. I think the Never Ending movie is one of those. A lot of us cinephiles love the movie, right? But it's not like it's much talked about. Like, especially in this day and age, when we keep being bombarded by superheroes after spandex, one after the next. Um, if I asked today's generation, Gen Z, hey, have you heard of Time Bandits or have you heard of Willow? They'd be like, what? Willow, what? So it's not their fault. It's just that there still hasn't been a reboot or reimagining of those movies, Time Bandits, Willow, and of course, the Never Ending Story. Uh, but I'm sure in time there will be a reimagining for the new generation. I don't know who's gonna do it though. So yeah, it's a fantastic song, and and Dustin and Susie Poo sing it, and everybody hears it through the comm. Oh my god, that will clearly go down as one of this season's most fan favorite moments. Definitely. Years from now, if you look back on season 3, you're like, oh yeah, I remember the singing. But I'm getting ahead of myself here. Before we get to the nitty gritty of the mystery, I have a few comments about the summer setting, the Fourth of July setting. In the first two seasons, I'm a huge fan of the show, by the way. Like I said earlier, they were set in the Halloween season, and so the mood and the feel and the environment and the atmosphere in the air is all everything about it look much different um than how it is in this new season three. You know, uh, especially with Billy being the lifeguard at the community swimming pool, and then the kids hanging about in the mall. By the way, the mall kind of takes the jobs away from the small town USA Hawkins. So there's that. Um, but there's that emphasis of hanging around in the mall. There's that one episode when what's her name, Sadie, uh, takes L to shop around to try a bunch of clothes. Um, you know, if you grew up in the 80s and 90s, like some of us did, malls, like roaming about in a mall is a big deal, and it's still a big deal today, but it's not as big a deal as it was back then, because today there are just so many more options where you don't have to actually leave home, or you can actually just binge watch Netflix or Amazon or Hulu, or and then you just deliver. I mean, you order delivery from Postmates or Grubhub, um, and on top of that, Amazon pretty much takes the fun and the jobs away also from the mall. I think South Park made fun of that. Um, so it's just a shift, man. The mall takes it away from the mom and pops, and now Amazon takes it away from the malls. Um, that's just the shift in the eras, if you will. Um, so yeah, that's interesting. I come across when I watch, I think episode two, like Sam Goody, you know, of course Radio Shack, Suncoast, and I'm like, oh man, nostalgic. Oh my god. Even I grew up in Asia. I came to America 1999. I was already familiar with Sam Goody. We have malls there too in Indonesia. So I was like, wow, those stores, they don't exist anymore these days. Oh, wow. It just brings back good memories. Um uh so yeah, the whole thing with the Duffer brothers making sure that the kids are growing up, that's also important, because of course you expect Al excuse me, Al and Mike to be making out a lot. That's what teens do. you know um we've been there, right? You and I've been there, done that. You know the excitement of experimenting, or the excitement of the experimentation of the exchange of saliva. Let's just put it that way. I know it's like, whoa! It's like this new thing. Like, oh, I can't get enough of it, and they're just like, that's what they keep doing in the room, and that's why Jim Hopper was like 3 inches, 3 inches, keep the door open 3 inches. And I'm like, dude, Jim, they're going through, that's their face. That's what teens do. Um, but bless Jim Hopper's heart, man. He's obviously he's rough around the edges when it comes to fatherhood, but his heart's in the right place. He's a cool dude like that. And then the other relationships, of course, Lucas and Sadie, and who else? Um, damn, I keep forgetting their names. I'm sorry, I'm not good with names. John and Nancy, Jonathan Byers and Nancy. Um, so there's that as well. And then the new relationship that's budding But there's a twist. Uh, it's a friendship relationship. It's Steve and Robin. Robin is played by one of the new characters in this new season, played by Maya Hawke, who is the daughter of Uma Thurman and Ethan Hawke. And Maya, I think, in my opinion, did a fantastic job as this character in this season. The twist is that turns out she's attracted to girls, and I was like, no, because I was like rooting for like Steve and Maya to end up like hooking up, whatever, right? And it's like no, she's like, why? And then that was like after that one speech of Steve just like unloading his feelings, in that, even though it's a crappy place like a toilet, like the toilet or the restroom. But he's like, oh yeah, I met this girl and she makes me laugh and she's all, she's smart and she's awesome. He's basically talking about her. Um, but after that one sweet speech, and then she's like, oh, I actually like, oh man, I think her name is Tammy. I'm like, oh man, my heart breaks for Steve at that moment. Really, really. Because now, Steve's back to like, I guess the only guy that's, everybody else has a girlfriend, including, I mean, especially Dustin. And Steve's like, Steve's left hanging. So I was like, oh no. Poor guy, poor guy. Um, so I think it's interesting how the Duffer Brothers, in their way of writing the episodes, how they um, inserted the development of these relationships into, even like, for example, even when it gets most intense, like things are happening, action packed. There will still like a few minutes here and there to like kind of give you an update. Okay, so let's give the audience an update on Harper and Joyce relationship. Let's give the audience an update on Al and Mike. Um, in the midst of the chaos, in the midst of the, intense chase, whatever, what have you, the Duffer Brothers always, they're really smart that way. They know how to place uh, those updates accordingly in a way that doesn't take you out of the moment at hand. Some people will be like watching something like a thriller like this, and then when you throw in um, a relationship drama in the middle of it, sometimes it feels like the writer's gonna throw a wrench, and sometimes it takes you off guard, and sometimes you're turned off by it because you just want to get back to the intents of the mystery. But that's not how it feels here, and I think and the pacing is fantastic too, by the way, man. And I mean, I started at midnight all the way till 7, and I was awake through the whole thing. Not a single boring moment. Oh my goodness. And it's so hugely entertaining. So many twists and turns. Obviously, you expect that from Stranger Things. Um but they just up the ante, man. They up the ante. Woo. And you know what? I, Another concern that I had was that they're gonna rehash the whole, other dimension or other world. In a way, they kind of did with this new episode, with this new season, um, because it's back to being about the mind flayer. That creature, the gigantic creature with that has like spider-like legs. But I think it is appropriate though, because um the mind flayer story was not really concluded in season 2. So this whole thing with okay, we're gonna bring back the Mind Flayer. It was appropriate because now they're like, we're gonna give him that epic ending, that epic collision with the kids. So and there's no Demogorgon this time around. So we've had like 2 seasons of that. So I'm glad they're not rehashing that one because I'll be like, oh, not these dogs again. um. So let's get to the mystery at hand. I love that they also kind of had some of the lead characters teamed up, and they parted ways at the beginning to a team of four, I would say, right? Joyce and Hopper. What else? Dustin and God, I can't remember the name. Oh, Dustin, Steve, and Robin and Erica. So that's one team. So Hopper and Joyce, and then Dustin, Erica, Steve, Robin, and then Mike, Luca, Sadie, and Al. And then the fourth team is Nancy and John. So Nancy and John are investigating these rats. That part, okay, I gotta be honest with you. I fucking hate rats. You know how some people hate spiders, or they get like all cringy when they see spiders, or they get cringy when they see snakes? I actually like snakes, and spiders are just okay. I'm indifferent about it. I'm not in love with it. But rats, dude, don't get me started, man. If I see a rat right now and I throw shit at it, I shoot something at it, I don't know. I gotta kill it. Because rats, man, I mean, just the fact that it's around, its very presence carries disease, let alone if you get bit by it. Oh my goodness. Ugh. So the episodes of Nancy and John investigating that whole thing with the rat and Mrs. Driscoll, I was like, there were times when I had to look away, especially when the rats exploded. I was like, no, that is so disgusting, so nasty. And then you see the insides kind of walk its way or crawl. The insides make its way back to um, the mind flayer. I was like, oh, that's so gnarly, man. Um, by the way, I tweeted some stuff while I was watching the episodes, and I think one of the tweets that I mentioned was, um, "This season reminds me of the Invasion of the Body Snatchers." Invasion of the Body Snatchers is um, a classic movie. It has been rebooted many times, including I think by Nicole Kidman, called The Invasion. So the whole thing with the Mind Flayer finding hosts, um, especially Billy being the main host, and a bunch of other townsfolk, that to me is inspired by the Invasion of Body Snatchers. Um, Another inspiration that I think, I don't know, because I haven't interviewed the Duffer Brothers, and I don't know if I ever will. That I don't know if I ever will get that opportunity. But that another inspiration, I think, in my opinion, is the Terminator. Um, oh, Salvador Romero, the original Demogorgon, is back at the very ending. Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. There you go. But it's not prevalent. You don't see Demogorgon like often, like you did in the previous season two. I mean, the previous 2 seasons. So that much I appreciate because you don't want another round of the same thing. The Mind Flayer, um, I get it because we didn't get that giant beast concluded in season two. Spire Spawn says Jim Hopper dies. Yes, I was gonna get to that. Jim Hopper dies, unfortunately. Oh man. But before we get to talking about Jim Hopper dying, the other inspiration, all right, before I lose my train of thought, is the Terminator. The original Terminator, 1984, I think, right? That's right. It's funny that Dustin and Susie Poo sang the song from the Never Ending Movie, which is a 1984 movie. And then, the whole Russian guy that kept like beating up on Jim Hopper and Joyce all the way through the end. Because he just won't die, man. That son of a bitch doesn't want to die. Um, he reminds me of T-800, Arnold Schwarzenegger's character in the Terminator, the first Terminator movie, which was in 1984. So that's interesting as well, because obviously uh, Stranger Things is sort of set in 1984, 1985 years. Now, so yeah, that reminds me that guy is so relentless. I'm like, dude, he always comes back. He even has an accent like Arnold did. Obviously, this one's Russian accent, but the way he moves, his haircut, and his black jacket, that is totally a ripoff of T-800. But you know what? I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. So yeah, get talking about uh oh, Chris, the Game and Pig. Do you think it's the best season? I think so. I think so. Son, he kind of looks like Arnold. Yes, yes, that's why he's a ripoff of T-800. The way how the guy lied to the fat Russian guy at the ending. um, it is. Yeah, I think this is the best season yet. And you know what? If Netflix announces that, okay, we're not gonna do a season 4, I would be happy with that. I would not mind at all. I think the way the Duffer Brothers did this season 3 is just phenomenal, phenomenal, mind blowing. Yes, Spire Spawn, I agree. It's romantic, it's funny, it's sad at the end with Jim Hopper dying. Um, yeah, you go through this arc, this journey of emotions in like 8 episodes. You feel all of them, man, all the feels. Um, let's talk about Jim Hopper. Of course, he's a fan favorite character. He's one of the fan favorite characters on this show, Stranger Things. What do I think about the Duffer Brothers' decision to kill him off? I think it's, you know what? I think I would have loved it if they had found another way that he survived that whole ordeal at the end. But him dying does make him, you know, even more iconic, as a character. Kind of like when Bruce Willis kills himself in Armageddon. That moment, you remember that? He talks to his daughter on the screen and then lift Tyler's hand holding the monitor. I was like, no, no, Bruce Willis, why? Why can't you go back to Earth? Why do you gotta, detonate the nuclear remotely like that? No. So that's how I feel. But now, the decision to kill off Hopper, it's one that really goes straight for the heart, because we love this character, and we love how David Harbour plays this character, and and sometimes a death or the death of a character that's beloved like that is necessary for storytelling to give that extra oomph, um, so that the emotional impact gets, all the more, all the deeper, I should say. So Chris the Game and Pig says he literally could have just walked up the stairs. He probably could have. He probably could have. Spawn says, I'm confused at the ending when 11 was with them in the van. Is she moving with Will? I believe so, yeah. Chris the Game and Pig says, yeah. Um, oh man. What else do I have on my notes here? Okay, so the mystery, the whole thing. Another that's another thing that I love about the Duffer Brothers storytelling is that the moment that uh the mystery picks up, this is the same as season 1 and season 2, the same with season 3. The moment it picks up, like probably around episode 3 or 4, it never lets go. I mean, the momentum just keeps. They manage to hold that momentum, man. Other shows or other thriller shows, sometimes it goes downhill after certain intense moments, right? Or like it goes on and off, um, from one episode to the next. But no, the Duffer Brothers, like once you have them hooked, once you have the audience hooked with the mystery, and they're like, it's all just like you can see, um, these separate four teams, right? Nancy and John, um, Al and Mike, and Luca, and Hopper and Joyce, and the fourth team, with Dustin, Steve, and Robin. Once they're in that mystery, each of each team with their own thing to solve. It's just go, go, go from then on. All right. And then, of course, as I said earlier, the Duffer Brothers would insert, uh, some update on the relationships of, some of those characters. So yeah, man, the way they do it is just fantastic. Um, I love it. I love it. It's a great episode. It's a great season. I don't know what else to say. I think I've covered it all. T800, right? Maya Hawk, lovely. Such a shame that she's lesbian. Otherwise, she would make the perfect fit for Steve. Oh, I almost forgot. That idea with the fireworks, using the fireworks as weapon against, uh, the mind flare. That was fantastic. Oh my god. It provides for a visually striking set piece. Once they start throwing the fireworks at the mind flare, I was like, wow. Like, I think there's a couple of times when I rewinded that just to see it again, because my eyesight was just like, wow, that looks so cool and epic, and kind of brutal too at the same time. Um, awesome, because I think up to that point, I think you would agree with me that 11 or L did most of the heavy lifting. And I kind of felt sorry for her because, she's the only one with superpower. So everybody else kind of heavily depend on her or heavily rely on her too much. So I feel concerned. Like, what if that takes a lot out of her? What if she gets sick because of that? Because of using her power too much or too often. So the whole fireworks thing, it signals teamwork. It signals that, Al is not the only one carrying the burden. And I almost forgot. We have to talk about Billy. I love that Billy, um, is front and center in the season. Partly because Billy was not fully used in season 2. You might agree, you might disagree with me, but to my recollection, if I remember correctly, Billy's story in season 2 is kind of separate and away from the main arc. Will and the gang. He would his storyline or his plot somewhat touch, theirs, from time to time, but mostly it was separate. In this one, he's right at the heart of it, right at the heart of the storm, man. Um, and for those of us who always thought that Billy was just a jerk or a player or a bully, and project a guy that's, obviously has been abused, so he projects it onto other people. For those of us who thought of him just as that, um, watching this season, at least for me, kind of puts him on a hero level status, especially by the end. Once L kind of reminded Billy of his own memories. And that was a sweet part, by the way. The whole thing with the beach and going from one memory to the next, but in the midst of like fog and stormy fog. I was like, wow. Even then, even through that, the Duffer Brothers was like, we got to make this interesting to see. We can't just be like, okay, just one memory jumps to the next one. Let's have L walk through this sort of like a desert storm kind of situation. I was like, wow, love it, visually stunning. And yeah, when Billy pretty much sacrificed himself, just like you said, he redeemed himself. He redeemed himself. So whatever previous conceived notion that we may have had about him, now we look at him differently. Like, wow, this guy's not bad at all. Not bad at all. Granted, though, up to that point, he was part of as I said, the invasion of the body snatchers kind of plot. uh, so, another character that also plays an integral part is Murray. Murray already showed up in season 2. Um, Spire Spawn says, "I dump your ass." That's right. uh, Murray is played by Brett Gelman, one of the funniest people alive. He's the one with the code name Bald Eagle, and he pretty much helped in this season. Harper and Joyce, they're that one team, and at one point he is very supportive of this one Russian scientist that's been helping them. I believe his name is Alexei, and I was like, I was so sad when Alexei died, man. The guy just like the guy. I mean, finally, for the first time ever, experience what it feels like to play not only dart but to be in an amusement park, to actually feel relax and joy, and happiness, and like, oh yeah, capitalism versus Soviet Russia, right? Soviet Russia, those uptight folks, uptight bastards. Uh, and right after he becomes like a child again after he wins that thing, and then that freaking Terminator, Russian Terminator shows up and kills him, man. I was like, no. Damn you, Arnold, damn you. Oh, so uh and then Murray, of course, is there, and he's pretty shook by it. And but Murray is also an unsung hero, man. And uh, many of Murray's moments crack me up. Murray is the comic relief, but a useful one, and definitely a very effective one. So exactly, Spawn. If it wasn't for Alexei, they would not close the gate. uh Man, Alexei, what a guy, what a guy. Look, 1 to 21, I'm out, can't get spoiled. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. This review contains spoilers. I'm discussing spoilers right now. It's already out, though. It's already out on Netflix, Lock 121. So and today's 4th of July. Today's holiday. School's closed, work's closed, offices closed, freaking, like, I don't know, hometown buffets closed. So you don't have any excuse, Lock 121. You got to sit down and binge watch those 8 episodes right now. Oh man, I can't believe I lost 7 hours of sleep. But you know what? I did not mind at all. I loved it. Okay, so to conclude this video, the ending is sad, not just because of Hopper, but for those of you who've seen it, um, There's parting ways happening, right? The buyers leave town, and then of course Hopper's letter to L. Oh my God! Oh, I'm a big boy. I'm 36. I'm a 36-year-old man, but I'm not gonna lie to you. I shed tears um, when he was talking about, and when life hurts, and trust me, it will. You know, hurt is good. Embrace it. You know, sometimes I wish things won't change, but that's not how life works. We got to move on. We got to grow, make mistakes, learn from them. I was like, oh man. If that scene doesn't want to make you call your loved one or call your dad or your mom, I don't know what will. Oh man. So fantastic season. Um, I think though, a running gag, things that keep getting repeated again and again to the point where you're like, the character is only remembered for that very reason. Is Will, because Will does this a lot. God bless Will. Will is one of the lead characters, but if you ask me, like, hey, how much do you know, or how much do you remember of Will's contributions in season three? My answer to you will be like, I don't know. All he did was just this. He's here. I can feel him. uh, that's all Will did. Come on. What else did he do? He didn't do nothing but this. Uh, touching the back of his neck. I'm like, come on. Like Lucas Lucas came up with the idea of the fireworks, right? Using fireworks as weapon. Who else? Nancy came up with other ideas as well throughout the season. Other characters also contribute some stuff. But Will, all he does is like and L, there's a couple of times when L's like, because they're stuck between a rock and a hard place moment, and it's like, oh, we gotta do this. Oh, and L will be like, oh, no, there's another way. There's another way. There's a couple times when she says that. It's like, there's another way. There's another way. So every other character on this show, in this season, would contribute some ideas of their own. But all Will did was, oh man, poor Will. Poor Will. In season one, he's missing the entire time. Season two, he's like possessed the entire time. And now season three, he's like, oh, he's here. uh, Chris the Gaming Pig says the musical scene between Dustin and Susie made me a happy boy. That's right. It's the never-ending story song. So if you guys, if some of you guys don't know what that song is, uh, more than likely it's because you guys are, were born in the '90s, or maybe you guys are Gen Z. But for many of us, especially cinephiles, would know that's from the movie Never-Ending Story. As I said earlier, um, it's one of those movies that it's one of those classic movies that don't get mentioned a lot. Just like Time Bandits and Willow. If I make a video reviewing Time Bandits and Willow and Never-Ending Story, I doubt that it would get. I doubt that those videos would generate a lot of views, because in this day and age, it's all about superheroes and people in spandex. Um, but until we get a reboot or a reimagining of the Never-Ending Story, I recommend watching that movie. I don't know if you can get it on streaming service or somebody's VHS, because it is a classic. So check it out, especially the song, uh, between Dustin and Susie. Oh, I'm so glad that Susie's real. Oh, I was a little worried then. I was like, oh no, what have you gotten yourself into, Dustin? Telling everybody that you have a girlfriend, but I'm glad that she turns out to be real. And you know what? She's pretty awesome. I don't know. I don't know about Dustin's description of Susie being like. I think she. I think he describes her. I think he describes her as like Phoebe Cates, but hotter and smarter. Phoebe Cates, by the way, is that bikini girl in the Fast Times movie. She's in the cardboard cutout uh, in the last scenes of this episode 8. So I'm like, okay, I guess to Dustin, according to Dustin, she's like Phoebe Cates, but smarter and hotter. You know, the rest of us might disagree, and that's fine. That's our opinion. So I think that those are all that I have on my notes. Um, I I highly recommend this. This is the best season yet. If this is the last season, then they definitely have outdone themselves. If this is the last season, then they definitely have gone out with a blaze of glory. Um, so if you haven't seen this new season 3, please, please, please make time today. Before you go watch the fireworks, which usually starts around 6 p.m., 7 p.m. local time, go sit down with your family and friends. At least catch some of the episodes. You don't have to binge watch the whole thing if you're if you're busy or if you have to prepare food or whatever. But check it out. Check it out. This is Stranger Things' most absolute entertaining season yet. I loved it. I loved it. I have no negative criticism to say about it. I don't. Usually I would be giving you some positives, and I'll be like, okay, so and here are some of the downsides. But no, this time it's all positives. Really, really cool. And I'm glad that I lost sleep hours because of it. Right now I'm gonna take a long nap, and I'm gonna wake up at 6 p.m. for the fireworks. Thank you so much, you guys, for tuning in on this special live review of Stranger Things, all new season 3, which is now already available on Netflix. As always, subscribe to my channel. Please subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Tell everybody, tell everybody you know and your grandma about this channel. Press that like button, ring that bell. And if you can help support this channel, please do so at patreon.com/ramascreen. That's patreon.com/ramascreen. Thank you, Spire Spawn and Chris the Gaming Pig and Locked 121 and Hi F Noid DCBCBCB. Thank you, all of you, for chatting with me, and Salvador Romero as well. Thank you for chatting with me on this live stream. And for those of you who didn't get to chat, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, subscribe. Let's rock this.